Hello, everybody. How are you? We're back with another episode of Lyrics Explained. Now, of course, that's where I break down your favorite songs and help you understand a little bit what's going on in the meaning of the song so that you can enjoy your music even more. Now, for this Lyrics Explained, we're going to go back to a band that was popular when I was younger. So this might appeal more to old heads like me, but maybe you are a young rocker and you'll enjoy this breakdown of AC/DC's Power Up, which came out in 2020. Let's jump right into it. Track number 1 is Realize. And this song talks about what I just mentioned, and that is getting older and realizing you can't dance the way that you used to do. Now, we used to roll into the bar, all the bros looking for the ladies, and where were they? Out on the dance floor. If I were to go into the bar at this age now and they were to try that, well, you know what we'd have? We'd have multiple physical injuries. We'd have ambulances lining up outside. Neither the guys nor the gals can shake it like they used to, and if they tried, we're talking about a lot of insurance claims that nobody wants to process. So that's what they're talking about in this song, is sometimes you just got to realize you're not what you used to be and to act your age. Now, number 2 is Rejection. Wow. This is a song I could have written because, wow, do I have so much experience in this area. Now, if you think about songs like Jimmy Buffett's lyrics, when he talks about sometimes he wishes there was a woman to blame, but he realizes it's his own dang fault. Well, that's really what my entire existence has all been about, is that I mess it all up. And then they leave. Okay, then they reject me. And then I'm like, what is wrong with you? But it wasn't them, it was me. It's like a downward spiral. You start acting the fool, well, guess what? They're going to react. And then you can't say, well, what's wrong? You are what's wrong, my friend. Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror, and there's your rejection source. Number 3 on the track list of this great album, Power Up by AC/DC, is Shot in the Dark. Now, how many times have you woken up in the middle of the night and you go to the bathroom and yet you can't even see the light switch? But it is urgent. This is an emergency. So you do your best to do what you have to do completely in the dark. You guys, it's a shot in the dark, and usually it works out, but sometimes you're going to have to do some post-activity cleanup. Just do it. Now, number 4 on the track list of AC/DC's Power Up is Through the Mists of Time. Now, this talks about the ability of AC/DC to look at other bands and try to emulate what they're doing, not copying, but to try to absorb some of their techniques so that they can continue to excel. And this is what all champions do, guys. So Through the Mists of Time, which sounds very much like a Led Zeppelin type song, doesn't it? Well, remember, AC/DC used to open for Led Zeppelin, and then they had 3 national tours where Led Zeppelin opened for them, and they would flip it every other night, okay? Every other night of the tour, they'd flip it. So sometimes you got the AC/DC on top, then you got the Led Zepp, and that gave everybody an opportunity to learn from each other so that they could continue at the very top of the charts, and that's what champions do. Number 5 on the track list of AC/DC's Power Up is Kick You When You're Down. Wow, isn't this such a snapshot of life when you fail? And let's be honest, if you're going to do anything in life, you're going to fail. I mean, you can just sit on the couch and not take any risks at all, and then 45 years later, you're wondering what happened. So you're going to take risks and you're going to fail, but what happens? They kick you when you're down. Talk about dirty deeds done dirt cheap. They kick you when you're down? Yes, that's the way it's going to work, guys, a lot of times in life. Now, is it mean? Is it nasty? Is it uncalled for? Yes. But if you live within the confines of New York City, it's a way of life. Number 6 on the track list is Witch's Spell. Wow. How many times have you been under the spell of somebody that you had a crush on and you don't know why? That's what it is. It's your biology and your brain working together, and you're infatuated with this person. That's the witch's spell. They get the hex on you. You start drooling right in front of them, and then a little piece of spit goes from your mouth, because you're just babbling. A little piece of spit lands right on their cheek. You just spit on your crush, and you crushed any chance you had at all. Number 7 on the track list of Power Up by AC/DC. We're having so much fun breaking down this album. It's Demon Fire. Now, Demon Fire was a van that AC/DC drove around in their very, very early days. Now, remember, these guys started when they were 7, 8, 9 years old. So who drove the van? They all did. At 8 and 9 years old, they drove the van to these gigs. Now, they weren't playing bars at that age, but they would get gigs at elementary schools, playgrounds, all kinds of places where kids their age are gathered. They'd break out the amps and start rocking. So to get to those gigs, they took turns driving. Now, the problem was they couldn't see over the steering wheel. So what did? They put a box PV amp that they used in the concerts as a stool. Number 8 of AC/DC's Power Up is Wild Reputation. This is a driving rock and roll song that speaks to that youth in all of us. Even if you're 21, you wish you were 18. If you were 18, you wish you were 15. If you were 15, you wish you were young again. You start saying, God, if I knew what I knew now when I was 12, I'd be rocking. I'd be rolling through life at the age of 15, right? You always want to have that. Every one of us, for some reason, we want to be younger. Even though we're older now and have wisdom, we have insight, we have more patience, and we have more vision of the entire world rather than just around our own selfish needs. But what happens? No, none of that matters. We just want to be young again. And number 9 on the track list of Power Up by AC/DC is No Man's Land. And this is such a great song because it talks about the part of our head that is completely empty. But this is a scientific fact that there is a no man's land inside the brain. But if you're a creative artist like the members of AC/DC, that's exactly what you want, because it frees you up from judgment of the creative process. It allows you to just rock and roll, baby, and write those songs, rip those chords, record it all, and edit it down until you are the rock and roll kings of the globe. Number 10 on the track list of AC/DC's Power Up is Systems Down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Overpowered. It's kind of like in Texas where the systems were down. And that's what this song talks about, is that even though that we have warnings in life, we often figure, it's all going to be all right. It's going to be fine. But then there you are in Vegas after 3 nights sitting at the poker table, no shower, no shave, trying to break a losing streak that took you from $480,000 that you saved all your life, and that you're now down to $27 and one bus token that's going to get you back to Nacogdoches. Number 11 on the track list is Money Shot. This is, of course, the 11th song on AC/DC's great album Power Up that came out in 2020. And, of course, AC/DC is not at the peak of their popularity that they had back in the old days. But Money Shot talks about they do not care. When rock and roll is in your blood, you don't care if there's 30,000 screaming fans in the auditorium or if there's 3 or 4 people at a biker bar outside of Barstow, California. And when you say on stage, for those about to rock, we salute you, they believe you, because you bring the money shots. Number 12, and the final track on AC/DC's Power Up, is Code Red. And what they're trying to communicate in this song is that there's certain times in your life where you gotta throw everything down It's a code red. And that means that you have to wake up at a certain point in your life, code red, and take action to get where you want to go. It's a code red. You've got to look at your life and you say, what do I want? What will make me happy? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to wish you had spent more time in the office. You're going to wish you had spent more time living the life that made you happy. Guys, that's it. I just went track by track. This great album by AC/DC, one of the monsters of rock that is still putting it down. And this is their album Power Up, which came out in 2020. You can expect many, many more albums from these giants of the game.